Want to get yourself into a full wheel? Not sure if you can take yourself there? Here's a simple flow to warm up your body, and we'll see if we can get there. Coming back down. We're going to start in hero pose, sitting on our knees. Stretch the hands up into the sky, stretching out those shoulders. Then from here, we'll keep the left hand up into the sky and bring the right hand down behind the back, internally rotating, turning the hand towards the back of the room, coming up behind the shoulder. Left hand comes back behind, and we reach to grab either hand. If either hand isn't accessible to you, you can just grab a hold of your top. And holding here, and breathe. We work to open up the shoulders and release. And breathe. Slowly release, give the hands a little shake, and we swap it over. So the right hand comes up, left hand turns to the back, comes up the back, right hand comes to meet it, or we're grabbing hold of our tops. And we're stretching. Working to push the head into that top arm to really open up the shoulder, and breathe. And slowly releasing the hands, give them a little shake, and then we're going to come across and into downward facing dog. So having our hands shoulder width apart, a little further in front of our face, then tracking under the shoulders, tucking the toes under and pushing back to downward facing dog. Taking a few moments here, grounding down evenly through the hands, a little extra weight between the thumb and index finger, externally rotating the upper arms away from the ears and pushing our weight into our thighs, creating a strong line of energy from the head up to the tailbone and from the bottom of the ankles up and out of the tailbone too, creating a strong triangle. And breathe. Then looking up between the hands, we're going to step the right foot between, lower the back knee, untuck the toes, and come into a low lunge. From here, we're releasing the tailbone down while bringing some weight into that front knee, not coming too far forward over the front knee, just sitting here where we've got a nice 90-degree angle. And then we're bringing the hands up if we're stable, or hands can stay on that front knee. And breathe. If the hands are up, we're softening the shoulders down. Then from here, right hand comes onto, left hand comes onto the knee, right hand reaches back for that left leg, and we're going to take a twisted quad stretch. And breathe. And if you're stable here, we're taking that left hand up and creating a mini back bend. Keeping nice and engaged through the core. And breathe. Releasing down. Hands down either side of the foot. Tucking the toes under. Stepping back to plank. Engaging the core, staying nice and strong. We're dropping the knees down, shifting forward, coming forward for a chaturanga. Keeping those elbows nicely pressed into the sides, we'll lower down onto our tummy and we'll inhale, just lifting up the top of the chest, engaging the back muscles. And exhale, lower down, tuck the toes under and press back, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here, catching your breath. And then we step the left foot up between the hands, drop the back knee, untuck the toes, and come up to a low lunge. Again, making sure that the knee doesn't come over towards the toes, creating that 90-degree angle, releasing the tailbone down, and hands at the hips, to the knee, or up in the air. If they're up in the air, we're making sure we're softening our shoulders down and tucking those ribs in. And breathe. Then from here, right hand comes onto the knee, left hand reaches back for the right foot, twisted quad stretch. Then if we're stable here, we're bringing that right hand up, creating a mini back bend. And breathe. And exhale, release it down. Hands either side of the front foot, tuck the back toes under, step back into plank, drop the knees again, shift forward, chaturanga, engaging that core. Lowering down onto the tummy, then inhale, lift the chest, no weight in the hands, and breathe. Keeping the lower ribs on the ground, just lifting up the chest. And then release, tuck the toes under, and push back, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here, just to reset. And then we'll inhale, raise the right leg up to the sky. Exhale, step it through between the hands. Engage through that back leg, and we're coming up into crescent lunge. Take a few breaths here, soften the shoulders down and soften the ribs in. Release the tailbone down. You may want to take a slight bend through the back knee to allow that tailbone to come down. And breathe. Then we're bringing the hands into heart center, leaning our weight forward, and that left elbow comes to the right knee for a twist. And breathe. Staying engaged through that back leg, pushing firmly into that right knee with your left elbow. Equal force between the elbow and the knee, pushing against each other. And breathe. And slowly releasing the hands back down. Either side of the foot, we step back to plank. This time we're keeping the knees up. Nice strong plank. Shift the weight forward. Slowly lower down halfway. Tuck the toes under. Press up, upward facing dog. Nothing but the hands and the tops of the feet on the ground. Then tucking over the toes. Coming back, downward facing dog. Few breaths here. Then we're slowly raising the left leg up and stepping it up between the hands. Slowly coming up. Crescent lunge. Again, engaging that back leg, releasing the tailbone down, softening the shoulders and the ribs in. and breathe. Then the hands come into heart center. We move forward and that right elbow comes over the left knee for a twist. And breathe. Staying high in the twist, we don't want to jump down so that we're almost on top of our front leg. We want to stay nice and high, really push that hand into the leg and breathe. And bring the hands down either side of the front foot and step back into plank. Rock forward and slowly lower down halfway. Tuck over the toes, press up, upward facing dog. Over the toes again, press back, downward facing dog. A few more breaths here. Then we're going to lower down onto our forearms, making sure that our arms are shoulder width apart. We're going to slowly walk our feet in towards our arms, into dolphin pose. And from here, we're going to breathe. If this is too strong for you, you can take a slight bend through the knees. We really want to try and work into these shoulders to build strength and flexibility. And breathe. And dropping down onto the knees, hands out in front for child's pose. Catching your breath again. And breathe. Coming up one more time. Make sure your elbows haven't gone out to the side. You can measure shoulder width by grabbing either elbow crease with your arms, and that should measure about shoulder width. Then our hands coming back out, tucking under our toes. We're coming back into dolphin. And breathe. From here, if pinches in your practice, you can have a little play, lifting the leg up, maybe playing with kicking up. And if you've got a wall, even better. And breathe. Slowly coming down, back into child's pose, and breathe. And slowly walking yourself back up. Take a seat, left leg out in front. Right knee into the body, give it a squeeze. And we're going to step that right leg over the left. And we're either keeping that left leg outstretched, foot engaged, or we're tucking it around the side. Left hand comes up, right hand sits behind the body, and we come for a twist. And breathe. With each inhale, fill up with air, feel the body rise. And with each exhale, twist a little deeper, release. Slowly unravel, take both legs out in front, give them a little little shake. Left knee, squeeze it in. Step it over. And either keeping that leg outstretched, if you did on the other side, or tucking it under. The right hand comes up, hooks over the knee, left hand's there to keep a nice, strong, straight spine. We don't want to slump. Staying nicely lifted, and breathe. Let your breath move you. You don't want to crank yourself around, and breathe. And from here, we'll release out, legs out in front, give them a little shake. And we're going to come on to our tummies. Hands facing down beside the body. We inhale. We're going to raise top of the chest and the hands. And breathe. And exhale, release. Inhale. Make sure the legs are zipped up together. Hands and palms facing down beside the body. Inhale, raise the chest, raise the hands and the feet. And breathe. Here it's important to try not to engage the glutes, which I often do. Soften them down, really just using that lower back strength. And the strength in the thighs, not the glutes. And breathe. And slowly releasing, taking an ear to the mat. Maybe shaking out the hips just to release the lower spine. And from here, we'll take our hands by the sides of our chest. And we'll push back into a child's pose for a second. Take a few more breaths. And then come up onto all fours. And we'll come over onto our backs. From here, we're going to set up for bridge. So we want to bring our feet close into our bum so that we can touch them with our hands. Feet are hip width apart. Hands press down on the ground. And we slowly press our feet into the ground to start to raise our hips up off the ground. While we're doing this, we're releasing the tailbone towards the knees. And we breathe. Here again, we're trying not to use the glutes, but really use the strength in the legs, pushing into the feet to lift higher. And if we're comfortable here, we can begin to walk our shoulders underneath our back, in to link the fingers, and come up onto the shoulder blades. And breathe. Making sure that the knees don't splay out, keeping them nice and tight together like you're squeezing something in between your thighs. And breathe. And slowly releasing the hands, lowering back down. Give the knees a squeeze into the chest. Take a moment to reset. Breathe. And then set up again for bridge. Feet hip width apart. Make sure you're able to touch them. They're in nice and close. Hands down beside the body. Press into the feet. Come on up. Releasing that tailbone towards the knees. Push into the ground, and this time we'll work towards a full wheel. So this time we're bringing our hands up beside our ears, moving our ponytail if it's in the way. inside the ears, even spread, making sure that our whole hands are touching the ground. We push further into our feet and our hands, and we'll just come to the top of our head. Resting on the crown of our head here. Take a few more breaths to reset, and then push into the hands again, nice and strong, up into wheel. From here, staying nice and strong through the hands, pushing into the ground, pushing our feet into the ground. So we're almost drawing towards ourselves. And breathe. And when you're ready, chin comes into the chest. And we lower down onto our backs. Feet come together. Soles of the feet together, knees out wide. One hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. And breathe. And slowly bringing the knees into the chest. Give them a hug. And then take them over to the left side for a twist. Right hand comes out to the side. And breathe. And twisting back into the center. One more hug. And over to the right. Left hand out. And breathe. Knees back into the center one last time. Then release them back down. Hands facing up to the ceiling. Final Shavasana.